Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar called Introduction to Management 3.0 and Motivation and Engagement. Today we are going to cover two main topics. One is about Management 3.0, what it is about. And the next topic will be about motivation and engagement, where we are going to play one practice called movie motivators. And let me introduce myself. My name is Arai, and I'm one of the Management 3.0 facilitators. And here you can also find Paulino, or you can call him Paul. He is also another Management 3.0 facilitator from our company, from Agilizing. And he will also help us during the Q&A session to answer your questions as well. So I'm working as an Agile coach in Agilizing. I do provide trainings related to management and Agile ways of working. I just want to quickly share my personal journey, how I learned about Management 3.0 and what is it about. So previously I was working as an IT manager in one of the largest financial organizations in my hometown. And I was actually very good in organizing all the work in IT, like how should we assign tasks to them, how should we work with developers, how should we work with operation team members. And I wanted to improve my managerial skills. And I was thinking, how can I make our team to be more productive? And I was thinking about high-performing teams. So how do we motivate people? How can we improve engagement? These were the questions that I wanted to find an answer. And this is my first webinar with Management 3.0. And that's the reason why I chose the topic of motivation and engagement, because that was my first reason to go into Management 3.0. Okay, I will just quickly introduce our company. First and foremost, I would like to introduce our company, Agilizing. Agilizing is a training and a consulting company that offers a training portfolio, and actually we are the largest training organization in Hong Kong. And we specialize in providing transformation and coaching services to major enterprises in Greater China, specifically in Shanghai and Hong Kong. And our business entities have presence in Shanghai, Hong Kong, the United Kingdom, and Taiwan. And in addition to transformation and coaching, we also offer staff augmentation and recruiting service to our clients. And here you can find all our training partners. They are certification bodies. So if you are interested in getting certification from these training or certification bodies, or if you want to learn more about them, you can reach out to us. We are Scaled Agile Gold partners, and also you can see that we are Management 3.0. We are partners of the company. So, and we have two facilitators in our company. So I'm just going to quickly skip this part. These are just some examples of the trainings that how engaged our trainings that we provide. So, okay, let's begin. During the presentation, please feel free to ask any questions. You can put them in the chat box, or you can just raise your hand and you can just ask your questions right away, because we don't have a lot of people here. And we will also allocate 5 to 10 minutes at the end for Q&A session. Okay, so what is Management 3.0? Any ideas, any thoughts from you? What do you think? Why do we need Management 3.0? So as I mentioned before, when I was first trying to improve my managerial skills, I was trying to change other people. I was trying to find a way, how can we change other people so they can work better for us, so they will be more motivated, they can do more job for us, etc. But after going into Management 3.0, I realized that we should not change people. We should not manage the people. We should try to manage the system. We need to try to work on the environment where people work. So if the environment is good and people will work better, they will feel more engaged and motivated. And Management 3.0 is not a framework or a method, it's a collection of practices. And later you see that it is also based on multiple modules, or we can call them like different topics. So we just organize some topics and make a training from them. And there are a lot of management models and theories out there, and they are all good, but the problem with other frameworks, like they have a lot of theory and we don't always know how to implement them. But in terms of Management 3.0, we can get some actionable items that we can use right away. So I think this is the most important reason that why we need Management 3.0. Because they have a very good practices that we can implement and try it out in our organizations. And Management 3.0 follows the systems thinking. Like the idea is that 95% of the performance of an organization is a result of the whole system, not the individual. And we try to make a good environment. We try to manage the system, or we try to manage, for example, motivation system in your organization. We try not to change people. We try not to go there. And also, it's not only the manager's responsibility for management, like it is everyone's job. And as you know, nowadays we like to call people as leaders. So we try not to call them managers because manager is more like a title and leader is like everyone. Everyone can be a leader in your organization. So you can make changes even if you are just a newcomer. You can also raise your own ideas. You also can try to make some changes in your organization. So you can be a leader in your organization. And sometimes I call like Management 3.0 like a future of management. It's like new ways of management. I'm not going to go into details, but you can see like there are some differences between the Management 1.0 and actually when Management 1.0 arose like around 100 years ago, so it is quite outdated. And now we are more on the Management 3.0. We are talking more about the human-centered leadership part. We understand that everybody is a human in an organization. We are not robots, and we try to understand that all people, they have their own emotions that we also need to be aware of. And according to Management 3.0, like the most important person is like a human in an organization. So all the decisions we make are based on like human-centered leadership. So we try to account the human part in our work when we are managing them. And the reason I'm emphasizing this part because if we talk about the traditional ways of management, usually the financial part, like the money part, will account on the decision-making part. But according to Management 3.0, we try to put humans as the most important part in our equation. Management 3.0 has a very strong community. You can see that they have more than 100,000 workshop attendees and like 450 facilitators. And they are also like doing very well on LinkedIn. You can also find like some good numbers about them. And as I mentioned before, that Management 3.0 like based on different topics and practices. It's like a combination of topics and practices. So now let's look at the workshops part, how they are organized. And all the Management 3.0 workshops, they have include like multiple activities, exercises that you can use. They also have some actionable advices and tools that you can just start using right away. And the first one, so if you want to learn about Management 3.0, we have the foundation level training. And you can see here it is like model-based training. So they have like topics here. For example, motivation engagement is also one of the topics for Management 3.0 Foundation workshop. And this is also a prerequisite for all other follow-up workshops. So if you want to start to learn about Management 3.0, the first workshop you should attend is Management 3.0 Foundation workshop. So you can have a look like management and leadership, complexity thinking, motivation and engagement, delegation and empowerment, values and culture. These are the topics covered in this workshop. And the next one, we call them Agile Leadership Workshops. They are follow-up workshops. You can attend them only after you are Management 3.0 Foundation certified. So we have 4 workshops here, and they are also like topic-based workshops. For example, Agile Change Leadership workshop includes of 3 topics like change management, metrics and OKRs, success and failure. And Agile co-creation leadership includes like Agile product development and remote hybrid collaboration, creativity, innovation, better meetings. And Agile people leadership workshop, I think, is very useful, especially for like human resources people from HR. Because we cover like following topics like meaning and purpose, hiring great people, emotional intelligence, rewards and incentives. And Agile team leadership, also like the last follow-up workshop, consists of these 4 topics. So if you want to learn about any topic from these workshops, you can actually attend the training, for example, especially only for one topic, but you will not get certified. So that's the reason they are organized in that way, that if you want to get a certification, you need to attend to all these topics in a certain way, or you just go ahead to the foundation workshop directly. And yeah, this is just a big picture of all the modules. So foundation workshop is a prerequisite. So once you get this certificate, you can go to any of these topics. Okay. Any questions here? So if not, you can just see all the badges that you can get from them. And this is a topic part. So what topics are included in Management 3.0? And as I mentioned before, like at Management 3.0, we don't only talk, we don't do only like theory, we try to do some actions. And the best way to learn them is trying things by yourself with experimenting. So usually all the topics they will include some practices. So here you can see like different practices that you can use from Management 3.0. And for example, movie motivators is here, is that we are going to try today. So this is also one of the Management 3.0 practices. And we also have like some examples of Kudo cards is also one of the practices. Movie motivators and delegation pokers. Yeah, and that's pretty much it is about the introduction part of Management 3.0. And now I would like to talk with you about motivation and engagement. So last week I had a very good discussion with one of my friends, and he asked me what motivates you to do your work? What has motivated you for the last like few years since you quit your corporate job and to become a trainer and a consultant? I have known this friend like for a very long period of time because we worked with him in a previous company, and he's still with his previous company working there, and he was asking me like, how I changed my job. And good question for me, and I thought about that a number of times before, and what I noticed, what motivates me is first, like, I think first of all is my freedom. I love being able to go in any direction I want, and it's also related with autonomy part. And I like to make decisions for myself and also benefit from the decisions that I made. And also if they are not good, I also can be punished by the bad decisions that I make. And that's all part of the freedom and the autonomy that I have. And I also love researching stuff, like digging into books and articles and look at different videos and trying to understand things and drawing connections between different topics so that I arrive at new insights and then sharing those insights with other people. And that's the stuff that I like most. So I think this is also aligned with curiosity part. So I am pretty curious to learn new things. And another thing that also motivated me is like mastery part. So here, as a trainer, as a consultant, I can apply my new skills. I can also master my competencies, and it also like resonates with the moving motivators that I will go into in a moment. And I think the main idea here is, as a managers, we cannot make people feel motivated or engaged, but we can certainly set up the right environment that maximize the probabilities that it will happen. So that's the story that I just shared with you. And now this question comes up very often, like how do we motivate people? How can we improve engagement? And employee engagement has been a big topic for the last couple of decades, especially among big companies, because employee engagement is still very low. And I'll later show you results from one research. And actually, this is a good reason for managers and leaders like to dig into and try to find their own answer for this question. And I think this is also a good question to think about. When did you last enjoy your work? And why did you enjoy your work? That's something that you should ask yourself. I'll just give you a few more seconds so you can just think about it, and then we can continue. Okay. Business leaders and HR managers, they consider the lack of employee engagement as one of the top priorities. But why do many workers, they do not feel engaged? So why it is happening? So we want to find an answer to this question. So this is also one of the questions that I want to ask you. So what do you think, what is the employee engagement rate in last year globally? Just give me any percentage from 0 to 100. What do you think? I've already mentioned that it is pretty low, but how much is it? Any ideas?
I think it could be around 25% in terms of engagement as a result of what we've been facing in terms of the pandemic. So perhaps the employment engagement rate has dropped significantly. That makes sense?
Yeah. So the correct answer we get from this report, like State of the Global Workplace report from Gallup, it's actually 23%. So yeah, it's pretty close, what you said. And you can also find here that, for example, like Europe only has like 13% of like employee engagement, is one of the lowest in the world. Okay. So we understand that employee engagement rate is very low globally, and we know that we should do something about it. And but the problem that we are not able to resolve this issue is that we still using our old ways of management in our organizations. We don't put people like as the most important asset in our like organization. We don't treat people as a human. So without motivation, nothing would be produced, said John Roberts in his book, The Modern Firm. And the whole point of a company is to coordinate and motivate people to get stuff done. Because it makes sense for them to do like things together. Because on their own, like each individual, they cannot accomplish the task. People have to work together to produce certain results. So the whole point of an organization is to motivate people to do exactly that. But the traditional way to motivate people is to pay them. Just pay them to do that stuff. Well, then yeah, people will be motivated to do whatever is necessary to get paid. But that doesn't mean that they are engaged with the work that they're trying to do. And also, motivated worker is not necessarily an engaged worker who loves the work that they are doing. You can be motivated by getting paid, but that doesn't mean you feel engaged. So you got the idea, motivation and engagement, and how they are interrelated with each other. And by the way, engagement is not the same as happiness. For example, an engaged worker who doesn't feel happy would be a person who works a lot but feels terrible inside. So it can cause some burnout situations. And also a happy worker who doesn't feel engaged would be a person who loves going to work but doesn't do very much. So now we're going to focus on engagement part. So technically, of course, we cannot make people feel motivated and engaged, but as I always say, I cannot really make people laugh. I can try. I know some tricks that can cause laughter, but I cannot be certain that this joke, for example, will resonate to laugh. So the same is with motivation and engagement. So we can set up the right conditions for motivation to emerge to maximize the probability that it will happen. But success is never certain. As you mentioned before, like it does mean that your joke will be funny for other people and they will laugh. So here we have the same logic here. And managers are responsible for making engagement a built-in property of the organization. Motivation is already like there in the company, but we usually focus on the extrinsic motivation parts. But as a manager, we also need to think about of intrinsic motivations. So once we settle this down and we understand what are the motivators for each of our like individual team members, we can make some adjustments to the work and we can make them feel better. And we don't only think about money, we try to think about curiosity, mastery, and other motivators. So is employee engagement about intrinsic or extrinsic motivation? What do you think? So do you know the difference between intrinsic or extrinsic motivation? Well, very often you hear like people say that it should be about intrinsic motivation, and personally I disagree with that. I think it's a more like balanced approach. Like for example, do I provide trainings because I love teaching people, or do I love the process of teaching? Like, yeah, that's true. But when I don't get support from people attending my trainings and people not buying my trainings, I will be demotivated. I will be discouraged. I need that extrinsic motivation as well. Like people clapping their hands and putting their thumbs up and say, well, wow, that's a good thing I picked up from your learning, from your training. That was very useful for me. So that's a combination of intrinsic and extrinsic. Basically, it's not only the challenge of providing the training, but also the confirmation from outside of the world. So I get the payments that motivates me well, and I also get some like status maybe and other mastery and other motivators. So now we are going to cover Champ-Frogs model, and Champ-Frogs model is something that we can find in Management 3.0. It is based on several other articles and books, and it consists of 10 motivators. So each letter is one motivator here. And those motivators are specifically applied to the work-life context because there are more other motivators in the real world, but they are not covered here because they are not really applicable in a work-life setting. So we will focus on the 10 motivators that are work-related, and they are based on these 4 books. Two-factor theory by Herzberg, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the theory of self-determination, and 16 basic desires theory of Stephen Race. And a good amount of these motivators, they also overlap with Daniel Pink's model of motivation. And by the way, Daniel Pink, he has a very good book called Drive, where he wrote about autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Actually, he basically borrowed like some items from like self-determination book or research, and all of these actually become a basic for the Chemfrogs model, which is covered in Management 3.0. So the first one is curiosity. It starts from C, like Chemfrogs, the first letter is C. I said earlier that this is a motivator for me. I love investigating things. I want to figure stuff out. How does this work? How is it related to that other thing? And that's about curiosity. I'm not going to spend a lot of time like on each of these motivators because we are going to do one activity later on. And the second one is honor, is the letter H of Chemfrogs. That people, they feel proud that their values are reflected in how they work. And for those who are motivated with honor, they might maybe more often end up at the charity organization. For example, because they value that kind of charity and that they are working for reasons with who they are. And the next one is acceptance, is the letter A. That is your colleagues approve of what you do, who you are, just being part of a group that you want to belong to. And then there is mastery. The letter M is mastery, or you can also call it as a competence. That is when the work challenges you and it is still within your abilities, but pushes you to grow. And that motivates some people very much. And you actually need to consider like this motivator very much in your organization. And power. Power is sometimes called influence. Actually, influence might be the better word here, but then we have Chemfrogs, which doesn't sound that good. So I think they picked power because Chemfrog sounds better. But you can call it influence if you want, so that you see your own footprint on the world. And basically, this is motivator for a good number of managers and leaders because they like having influence, they like having power, making things happen. Okay. Then freedom. As I said earlier, this is called autonomy by Daniel Pink and self-determination research. People being independent of others and having their own responsibilities, making their own decision. And for me, it can be maybe my number one. I always say that I can do my job anywhere, like or maybe nowhere, or just I need my laptop and just any place so that I can just focus on myself and just doing some stuff that I like. But for other people, relatedness is more important. Like there is often a bit of friction between freedom and relatedness, because when relatedness is important to you, then you prefer having a social ties with others, good social contacts with other people around you. Like you like negotiating, collaborating with other people, and some people, they thrive in such environment where they have a lot of social stuff going on. And the next one is order. That's our O is for people who want rules and policies and stable environment and clean desk and just organized stuff. And it's good thing that there is such people out there like who love bringing order to a team, to an organization, making sure the file folders are all neat and tidy and having a good coding guidelines, or just making sure that we all know how the work is done. And yeah, that's definitely something that motivates some people. And there is the goal, the purpose in life, like is reflected in some people in what they do. And status. And last but not least, that is feeling that you have a good position, that you recognize by others, by your peers, by your colleagues, being number one, number two, whatever. And this is also a very good motivator for managers. So those 10 different motivators, they spell Frogs. We just covered them one by one, all the way from curiosity, honor, acceptance to order, goal, and status. And they drive people's behavior in a work-life settings. So once we understand this, we can use it in our day-to-day organization, and we can try and understand what are the motivators of our team members. There is also another model that I found that I actually also like it very much. It is by Yu Kai Cho, who was one of the world's experts on gamification, and he has offered Octalysis as a model, also about human needs. And you can see here, you have like intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation, like long-term and short-term motivations. So later on, you can also spend some time looking at this Octalysis model if you're interested. Okay, so actually many companies, they do have some like rewards programs, etc. But when we talk about like motivators built into the system, actually there are not so many companies who is doing that. So you can also consider using these motivators and build it into your system of motivation. I also like this quote, like, don't waste your time trying to motivate individual workers with an employee engagement program because they simply don't work. And we already saw the result that still the employee engagement is still very low globally. It's only around 23% of people are engaged. And we also covered that the goal of an organization is to engage people for productivity and not just to motivate them or just paying them, but we also want to spend some time and to understand like how can we motivate and using these movie motivators for Octalysis or other systems. And I think this is the last slide from the topic. manage the system, not the people. And you need to think about the system of motivation and engagement that you need to set it up. Okay, so I did a lot of talking, and now we can try to do this activity. We try to play moving motivators right now. So let me share my screen. So actually you can find it here, like if you go to Management 3.0 website and under the resources section, you go to tools and downloads. And here you can find all the Management 3.0 practices, and Movie Motivators is one of them. And when you click here, you can find all the necessary information about Movie Motivators, and also all the instructions how you can play it. And you can also download the PDF version of Movie Motivators. And here you can also find an official Miro template that you can use. So you can click it and import into your Miro board. So I already did it for you, so you don't need to do for now. So I'm going to share the link. I'm going to invite you on our Miro board. By the way, have you ever experienced using this kind of digital whiteboards? Do you know how to use them?
Yes, Array. I've used it in the past, and it's very beneficial.
Yeah, so I just pasted the link in our meeting chat. Please try to join. And we will do this very quick activity. I like this Movie Motivators very much. Let me first bring everyone to me. Because here you can find all the necessary instructions how you can play this game, and like how can you use in your own company. And as a managers, we cannot make people feel motivated or engaged, but we can certainly set up the right environment that maximizes the probabilities that it will happen. But how do we know like the feelings and motivations of a particular person? We have discovered that the best way is to ask them, ask for feedback. For example, if he or she is interested in leading the project, or like another interesting way is to understand the motivations of your team members is to play the game called Movie Motivators. So we are now going to do it here. So the Movie Motivators activity is based on 10 motivators. So let me bring, so you are already here, yes? So it consists of 10 motivators. You can find them like curiosity, honor, acceptance, mastery, power. So you can find all the details necessary here. And the first step, you need to define which motivators are important to you. So you need to place the cards like in order from most important to least important. And you try to move them around according to your preference. So for example, here you can just move one of these, for example, mastery. If the mastery is the most important for you, you move it here. If you think acceptance is the second important, you move it here. So you try to think about it and put your motivators from most important to the least important, like here. So for each of you, I've already prepared space. So you can actually take a sticky note, for example, and put your name here. And then you can just try and move all the motivators from the most important to least important for yourself. So this is our first step. We try to go like step by step. Any questions here? Remember that it is your current situation. So if you play this game again, most likely your results are going to change, and that's perfectly fine. And although this is a group activity, we should do like in our organization, but every person should complete this activity like individually. So each person, they need to do it individually. Any questions or any difficulties accessing the Miro board?
So far, so good.
So usually when I do this like in with our team members, the first thing that we usually do, we create personal maps. This is also another practice for management 3.0. So once you do the personal map, you can also do the movie motivators. So you can see, you can get more idea, more information from each team member. So it's like just some like personal experience how I use these practices. I try to combine these two practices all together. Okay, I can see that both of you are already completed this activity. So the next step, like step 2, is to discuss how change affects your motivators. For example, consider situation when your company decided to introduce agile ways of working, and now you're going to learn new skills and your team formation might be changed. And how does that affect you? So what motivates you? And it will most likely increase some motivators and decrease others. So try to move the cards up for a positive change and down for a negative one. And then look at whether you have more cards up or down. So if you look here, for example, this change have a negative effect for me, so power goes down and mastery also goes down. Curiosity can go up. So you also need to consider particular situation. So you need to move your cards up for a positive change and down for a negative one. And you can also stay on the same level if it doesn't affect your motivators as well. Okay, thank you, Ritesh. Have a nice day.
Sorry about the typo on your name. I do sincerely apologize.
No.
Quickly, thank you. Thank you for a fantastic session. I know it's always not easy delivering training. From my past experience, it can be difficult, but you did a fantastic job. Well done on that.
Yeah, thank you, Ritesh,
And
for
also,
your feedback.
all right, cool. Hope to speak to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so once you complete the second step, the last step is time for reflection and discussion, and you talk to your teammates about which motivators are least and most important to them. And this will give you a better insight into what drives your colleagues and allow you to create stronger relationships and increase collaboration. So I think it is a very good practice that you can actually implement in your work. Okay. So I have a few suggested reading list here. And yeah, thank you very much for attending our webinar and welcome to join our WhatsApp community. You can scan this QR code to join us, and once you get in, you'll see different interest groups which you would like to join. And thank you, everyone. I hope you take away something from this presentation, and it's time for Q&A. Please feel free to throw any questions.
Thank you, Awan. Thank you for covering, and this is a good section. Thanks.